So yesterday they really did come for us. They gave us that last little push and we were feeling so rich, and then they came and they flushed us out. We saw these altcoins, some of them ripped about 10-15% down. There was a lot of pain, a lot of bleeding, but they hit some very good areas. So today we are going to talk about that. We're going to look at some of those areas. Then we see BTC is just back up again, pushing the 64K level. And because everything is looking so bullish, I think the time is right to look at some massive, and I'm talking huge, spot trade setups that I've got for you guys. So I've got 3 teed up right now. Then I'm also looking at some easy algo setups that I'm watching. I've got 3 meme coins to talk about today, and I've got an update on an old trade from December for 𝗔𝗥𝗘𝗘. So we got so much to talk about here, guys. Let's get right into this. I mean, there's absolutely so much going on out there. That feeling of FOMO is real, especially after yesterday. If they came and they try to hit some of your stops, I know some of us hit a couple of stops yesterday. Some of our good entries survived. They were kind enough to only give us 10 or 12% on some of these altcoins. So they didn't give us the 20% that I was concerned about. So guys, let me know in the chats who is surviving here, and you know, who made it through that massive move. I've got a couple of trades still open that ripped right back, and I'm going to show you what is going on. And now we've also seen Solana has finally woken up. So we've cracked Bitcoin, we've cracked ETH, and now we've got Sol waking up. And you know, that might be a very exciting sign for some of these other altcoins. And then obviously DOGE from yesterday, that thing was a late bloomer. We had Whiff and Bonk and all these other things firing. DOGE was doing absolutely nothing, and it delivered for us finally yesterday. So we're going to recap on where we are with this DOGE situation. But quickly, let's just jump into BTC. I am tracking it now. DGen vibes here on the 15 minutes. I got a feeling we're going to get some kind of squeeze here and another push to the upside. And this might be the gate or the gateway for all-time highs, and that is just around the corner. So what are we looking for today? Well, right now we can see BTC is clearly at a resistance zone right now on the 15 minutes. What is the ideal scenario for the bulls? The bulls want to see a little push up, a little bang at that high from yesterday, 64,200, maybe a little retest, and then we want to send things back to all-time highs just to celebrate. You know, it's been 2 years of pain and suffering, maybe a little bit longer when we were last there. So it's going to be fun, and we just got to get it over the line here. So right now, that is not the plan for me. That's the bull plan. What do we do if we get downside? Well, the first thing you're going to do is start looking at some horizontal areas of interest. So we're just going to mark a couple of horizontals here for you guys, just so you can see where we could get potential downside, potential dips. And as you can see yesterday, the level we are watching after that pump, it basically pinged our 618 perfectly here on the 15 minutes. So that was a lovely area for us. So right now, what am I watching for downside on BTC? I've got my eyes on 62,000. Anywhere in this region looks okay to me. We've also got a rising trend keeping us alive there. And then lower down, you're going to look at the horizontal here at about 61,100. That is your next one. That tells us that BTC has lost that trend. Things are turning bearish, and then we are potentially heading back to the 59.5. So as long as the fun line is intact here and we are cruising up, I'm looking for a squeeze higher and one last push here for BTC. And maybe we're going to get our all-time highs before the end of the week. Let's see how that goes. Guys, let me see who's in the chats here. Who felt some pain yesterday? I had to bail on my vet trade. I bailed on Celestia. I got hit on a couple of those. Let's see. Spicy Sauces, I gave you a massive ton trade. Yeah, look, that was a big one yesterday. We had about a 30% move on that guy. Dinoway says Sol is on fire. Well, I've got Sol for you guys today. I've got it prepped right now. I see some of the guys got a few hits there. Yeah, Weave, all the strong ones, they all pumped back very quickly. And it was an amazing recovery after a little bit of FUD. So let's just see what that FUD was about. What were these guys actually trying to do here? And Bitcoin's price surge briefly broke Coinbase, according to this article. Well, I'll tell you how it actually works, or at least how I think it works. All these market makers and everybody sits in the same chat group. They're in the same group on Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever they use. And they come up with a little plan on how they're going to dump the markets. that they can get some good buys in and just rinse retail out. And they come up with a story and they push some buttons, and suddenly Coinbase is showing zeros and everyone panics. They dump it, and then what do? They release a tweet saying everything is fine, and the market pumps back up. It's the classic story of a bull market play, never ends. And you don't really read too much into these headlines. It all seems to be a plan anyway. Bullish news here: Bitcoin surpasses Russian ruble to become the 14th largest currency. I mean, that's insane what is actually going on here with BTC, and just this bullishness surrounding it. And then I love this tweet from 𝗦𝗘𝗘𝗘𝗦. Look at this thing. Bitcoin's making history. Okay, the largest green candle on the monthly in history, a 20K candle on Bitcoin. And I mean, this really is unreal what is going on here. I don't like the look of the red candles though after a couple of these monthlies, but you know what, we're going to ride this and we're going to enjoy this while it lasts. So let's keep going. And then the JP Morgan, they're talking 42K after the April halving. So let's see how that goes. That might be another opportunity for a Coincall option. We're going to have to buy a put option on that one. So 42K is their target for April. So they're basically saying that, maybe a little bit more pumpage here, but they're looking for some downside over the next couple of months. And I think a correction would make sense. Okay, at some point we need to get that 15, that 20% move on BTC just to flush everything out, reset, so that we can go for round 2. And old Victor here on Twitter, he posted yesterday the Coinbase app ranking. It was 280. Today, it's 153. What does that tell us? It tells us retail is coming straight back. Retail are coming in. They're buying the meme coins. Things are starting to go crazy, and you can see what's happening in the market. Things are absolutely pumping in all the wrong areas. And all that little flush out did to our Bitcoin fear and greed index was move this thing down 2. Okay, so yesterday it was on 82. We had the massive pump. They flushed it out. We back to 80. Okay, so everyone is still sitting in absolute extreme greed here at the moment. Let's just click the max here and just see our levels again. And we are almost nearly at the November 21 high. So it's just around the corner. And yeah, things are getting spicy. So again, yesterday we spoke about taking profits. We spoke about being careful. And hopefully some of you listened to what I had to say yesterday and did de-risk a little bit, because it was absolutely brutal what they did. And again, just remember, along this journey, while you're making money, this is a bull market, and bull market plays is to come and flush you out and take away the profits that you haven't realized yet. So make sure along this journey you are taking profits, especially the leverage traders, because they come for you and they reset your account in 5 minutes. And it's basically like all your work for 2 weeks gets wiped out in one move. So just be aware of that. Here's BTC on the weekly. Okay, so here's our big number here. This is what we're looking at. This is the target we're chasing. Are we going to make this by the end of the week? A couple of guys think we could, within the next while. So that is our big target. So all is running well for now on the weekly chart for BTC. So no changes here for me. What I am loving at the moment is this current BTC dominance rejection. Okay, this is a weekly dominance chart. What does dominance tell us? Dominance tells us when dominance is pumping, BTC is stronger than the altcoins. When dominance is dumping, the altcoins are stronger than BTC. You generally get a situation like this when BTC is ranging a little bit and dominance starts dumping, then these altcoins start pumping. So what am I watching now? We're looking at dominance at this weekly resistance zone. This is an interesting area for us. It's a huge area for altcoin traders, because this tells us we want to send this back down and really now start pumping things like Solana, Phantom, AVAX, all of these guys, DOT even, ADA, any of those tokens. We want to start firing those guys up with this dominance pulling back. If dominance is going to break higher, what we're going to see here is we're going to see a push up into this 57% region, and that's potentially our next rejection area. So if we don't reject here now and unleash these alts, the next big level is the 57% mark, where we're going to be looking for that rejection. Okay, let's see what else is happening here before I give you my first big trade. Okay, let's see. So the usual crew is here. Ali's here. He says he got stopped out by that big wick. Looks like Coinbase manipulation. Guys, it's always the same story. It's just a different headline. The flush out always looks the same. They come and they rinse you and they flush you and then they move it back up, and you sit there with your underpants around your ankles feeling sorry for yourself because you over leveraged everything and they cleaned you out and they pumped it back. Okay, let's look at. I've got my first big one for you. Let's go right into this here. MATIC. Okay. So what I've done here is I pulled out MATIC on the weekly chart. Now we are looking at a bigger picture here. We are saying, okay, overall, things are going to be bullish. Overall, we're looking for a big move. We understand along the way we're going to get flush outs. We understand that. We understand along this journey we're going to get 15%, 20% moves on these altcoins and things like that. But we are all expecting a net up situation over the next couple of months. So we can deal with that by, number one, trading spot for big moves, or number two, trading very low leverage. You're trading things like margin accounts on 3x and things like that. So that is something you guys can look at. This is typically pointed at a spot type situation. And here's my current MATIC trade. This is what I'm thinking at the moment, and this is how I'm getting involved. So as you can see, we've got this weekly high from November 21 coming down. We've now cracked the weekly trend. We are now sitting just on this retest that we've just had. So what is my plan here? What am I looking for? So right now I'm looking for a little push up here for MATIC into this 1.17 region, and then maybe a little pullback, and then we're going to send it to our next area. So this is my first big trade that I'm taking here on spot for MATIC, that I'm looking for a really nice size move. The first big move is 52%. And, you know, I mean, we're going to be very happy with that. If that's sitting on a 3x account, for example, that's about 150% move. The first resistance area is a tiny little move here of 14%. So this trade can be done in a couple of phases. And phase one would be the trade to this first resistance area. So we're going to see this trade. Once we break that, there will be a second trade on offer. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can trade this section by section, or you can trade it spot and try and build a position as you go along. So right now the plan is entries for MATIC in this region, exit points if we're going to lose the 50-day moving average and close under the 50-day moving average in that area, is most likely a place where you want to start cutting your position, because it's potentially an area where they start telling us the market is looking a little bit bearish and our thesis is wrong and we're no longer going to be net up and all these things, and it's going to be applicable to a lot of these altcoins that you are trading. So if MATIC has lost the 50-day MA and things like that, you're going to find a lot of these other coins are also losing these type of levels, and maybe the market is a little bit dodgy at that point in time. So that is our plan for MATIC. We're looking at a 50% play to this first the major region over here, and that's around about 1.56 is our target. Are we going to get to all-time highs? Look, MATIC's going to have to come out with a shit ton of good news and bullish things and all these things. There's so much competition out there. Can it get back to 2.8? I don't want to speculate. I'm going to say no. I don't think MATIC can get back to 2.8, but it can definitely get to this 1.56 and most probably round about 2 if we really have some kind of blow off top. So those are the areas I'm watching for MATIC, and looks like a good play for me. And the bulls are going to note we've got a nice little bullish sort of setup here on MATIC, and the chart is looking quite decent here. We've got some higher lows as well, and we are pushing on. So something good here in the making for you guys. Joel says, any update on DYDX? Yeah, DYDX is on. It's moving. It's firing. So there's no changes to the current DYDX situation. Right, now let's go. Let's just recap Doge yesterday. I mean, this was an absolute thing of beauty, wasn't it? We sat here so patiently staring at Doge. I was calling it a dust coin. I was insulting it, and it delivered for us. Finally, it had a little bit of a problem at this 200-week moving average. It was messing around here at this horizontal. We knew this was a big zone, but now the bulls, we are so in control here at the moment on this Doge situation. It's ridiculous, because what we've got now is a massive horizontal support here and 200-week moving average support. So if they want to come and wreck things and really destroy it, we are looking at a major support region here at 0.104. Anywhere in this area is huge support now for Doge, and for me, it's open skies until we get to round about 0.156. That is our main target that we are looking for on Doge at the moment. And if it's going to do anything like Pepe did and some of these other meme coins, you know, that's the least I would expect out of Doge. So I'm not closing this Doge thing anytime soon. Here's my prime XBT. I had a small position on Doge, unfortunately, and it's absolutely ripped here. It's $1,700 up now, and I have added a little bit to it. You can see there's my buy. My average buy there is 0.113 now. So let's hope that's enough juice in the tank to survive any pullbacks. I'll leave that open as long as I can. And the next one is Solana. I mean, look at the SOL. You saw this trade yesterday. It was sitting quietly. It was probably a few $100s up, and now it's 3,400 up. It's really taken off here. And let's start talking about the Solana situation. Let's just see where we are. What is the plan for Sol? I mean, is it going to be Sol season? And I have put a poll in the chats here that I'd like you guys to answer for me. Let's just take a look here. Yes, okay, so ETH is gone, BTC is gone. What pumps the hardest next? And 40% of you are calling Sol. So look, I might be inclined to agree with you guys. I love this idea of Sol, but I've got a couple of backups for you as well that I'm busy playing in at the moment, and I'm going to tell you about it in a couple of seconds. So the current Sol situation on the weekly chart, what am I looking at? Well, there's some work to do here for Solana, but it looks like a nice, free, easy ride to 200 once we do the hard yards here. And along the way, there could be a little bit of pain and suffering in between. But what we can see here is a lovely weekly area. And you can see Sol is really fighting this zone now. It's really putting pressure on this weekly zone. So what we want to see as traders is we want to see it pop up. You've seen the story before. We're going to get some kind of break up there. And when we get that pullback, which we no doubt will get a pullback, we want to see it hold anywhere in this weekly region, and we're going to be pulling fibs at the time when the time is right. When we have our high, we're going to start pulling fibs, and we're just going to confirm where those fibs are going to tie in, because that's going to give us that extra confluence on our support level. But it's going to be something along the lines of buys at about 133. So the best way to play this as a trader is actually to wait for Sol to pop higher. Okay, again, I've said this before, it's a little bit counterintuitive. Wait for it to go higher, and you're potentially going to buy it at a higher price. But what you want to buy is that pullback and retest when we confirm that we have support, because generally the best buys that we get when we are trading are the buys when we're feeling uncomfortable, the buys when the market is red, the buys when the market is bleeding into you. You want to buy it cheaper after a pump rather than buying a pump, because sometimes then you can get rinsed immediately out the gates. They can come back and pull you back. So just be patient here on Solana, but there is a nice big plan. And then I've got the shorter time frame trade for you guys that I've been sitting in. And I mean, you guys, I've been nursing this trade with you guys for a while now on Sol, and we're finally cracking these big levels that we want to see. And I just want to add another support level for you in case something bad really happens here. We just want to make sure we have another area of interest. Let's just see where our fibs are tying in as well. Let's just make sure we've got everything making sense here. Okay, so we've got a really nice 618 lower down. Okay, we don't want to go there. 112, I do not want to go to 112. I'm done with 112 Sol. Let's see where our 236 is. Let's see what we got here. Yes. Okay. So we've got a lovely 236 fib here for Sol, giving us some extra confluence here as a support area. So if we do get a heavy pullback in the market in general, let's start looking at this 124 to 125 region for our potential first zone, first bounce area for Solana. So this is a big area now for me. So Sol traders, 124 to 125, that is a nice looking bounce zone, nice looking buy area for Sol. If they do bleed us lower, I don't have much more at the 382. So my next big area for Sol, 118. So these are big areas, 118 and 114, 124, 125. These are your big Sol regions that you're going to be watching for any pullbacks. And these are bullish pullbacks. Obviously, we want we're making assumptions here that the market remains bullish on these pullbacks. Okay, let's see what else is happening here in the chats. And I see Ray, Ray is still doing his thing there. Bro, are you gonna wear this every day? Are you gonna wear this every time?
Honestly, there's nothing more productive than this.
Well, it looks productive. I mean, it looks incredibly productive. Okay. That just looks like he's playing games the whole time. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, the next big trade I have for you guys. AVAX. So this is AVAX sitting on the weekly. And again, it hasn't broken trend yet. It's got a long journey ahead of it. So this is what I'm loving about this current AVAX situation. It's been an absolute lagger. It's been sitting behind. And while we've been watching ETH move, we've been watching BTC move, we've been watching the meme coins, all these things, and AVAX has gone quiet. And don't forget, AVAX had a massive move a couple of months ago. It was super bullish, and we had a huge pump on AVAX. There was so much news and things like this. And right now, this is it's looking like it's time for the next move. And what does the plan look like for AVAX? How are we going to trade this thing? Well, it's quite simple. We've got a nice weekly trend here that we are looking to break. So the first move we're looking for is a little pump out of this weekly trend, and we would expect a rejection at around about this 49 to 50 region. Then I would say we're going to get some kind of retest, and that could tee us up for our next massive move here on AVAX. So there will be time to jump into this. If you are looking for a spot trade and you are bullish on the market, you can start laddering in to this AVAX situation. Your main support that you're going to watch for now, which will change as this trade moves higher, and if the trade moves higher, your main support that you're going to watch to start right now is going to be 35. So if you lose this 35 region, the weekly candles closing under 35, the market is telling us there's something wrong out there, something is not right. That's a potential stop loss area. If you are an accumulator and a spot buyer and you hodl and you're never selling and those type of things, it's opportunity to buy more. If you are a trader, this is what we're looking for. This is the trade setup. We're looking to nibble at entries here. Then we're looking for this pop on the weekly. Any retests, we're going to buy at around this 43, 44 region. And once we crack this major weekly horizontal, there'll be an opportunity to add on. And anybody who's missed the trade, there's going to be another opportunity for another trade on AVAX, and it's going to look something like that. It's going to pop higher, and we're going to get that retest, and then we're going to send it again for the second potential trade. But the upside that I'm watching right now, so the first little pop that we're looking for is a roughly 17%, but the full move that I'm trying to get out of AVAX is 130%. So if that's a spot trade, that's a nice big move for you guys. And if you are trading 3x margin and those type of things, if you are trading like that, 3 times 130%, that is the size of the move potentially on the table here for you on AVAX. So play it slow, expect along this journey, expect and understand we're going to get flush outs, we're going to get pullbacks. So, you know, spot plays, if you're taking positions like that, these can really work for you and grind out your trade as this bull market progresses. Okay. There's still lots of requests here for some of these meme coins. I've got 3 meme coins for you guys, but I first got to give you my next banger trade, and then we're looking at ecosystems in AVAX, in Sol, in Phantom, and we're going to do the whole hog here, because if these ecosystems, I mean, if these ecosystems start moving, we need to deal with them. So let's just take a look at AVAX. So let's say we get bullish AVAX. What is the first thing you do for AVAX if you're bullish and you want to buy in the ecosystem? You buy something like Trader Joe, you go for a DeFi or something along those lines on AVAX. And if you want to buy a meme coin, well, it makes sense. You need to own a meme coin for a pumping ecosystem. You go cock. Okay, so the first thing I do when AVAX pumps is I grab my cock and I go in here, and you can see this cock is now breaking trend, and my current target, Ray, literally, I grabbed this cock here. So I'm bullish on AVAX, and my current target that I'm looking at for this cock is multiple zeros, 3236. So this is cock in U. You can trade it on KuCoin. It's a meme coin on AVAX. It was the first AVAX meme coin, and right now looking bullish with the rest of them. We've now broken trend. We've got a nice 382 support region for us here at multiple zeros, 207. Okay, so that is our support marker we're looking at. If it drifts back, we're looking for buys in that region, and we're going to send it higher. But right now, interim target for me, multiple zeros, anything around this 31 region you're looking at for cock. Let's just look at the size of this move. 48% potentially on the table here for cock and you. And I know some of the other YouTubers and stuff love this thing, and you know, they'll get stuck into this again at some point, and it's going to give us some moves. So eyes on this right now. And what else do we look at when we are looking at AVAX ecosystems? We look at things like Trader Joe. Okay, let's just pull that up quickly. Let's pull up Trader Joe. Let's get this out on the weekly. And this is Trader Joe. This is something we've looked at multiple times, and you can see how it runs with AVAX. It pumps at the same time, it moves nicely, and it's got nice, big, aggressive moves. I mean, look at this at the moment, and you can see this thing is getting charged up right now. So any fans of Trader Joe, this is a nice AVAX ecosystem play. There's your resistance area in front of you. I would say once we come back to this area, I would expect that we're going to start blowing this region at 69. So right now, support that you can watch for Trader Joe, if you are interested in this one, 0.559. That is a nice little weekly support region. There's a fib support there for you as well. It's quite a big pool. It's a nice little area here. So we've now reclaimed that after yesterday's dip, and 0.559. That's an area I like at the moment for Trader Joe. Okay, let's go. The next big trade. Okay, some people telling me I'm crazy for liking Phantom. Apparently, you know, it's an old, I mean, it's basically a dust coin, isn't it? It's from 2021. But, you know, I've been chatting to Sheldon, I've been chatting to some of the guys here, and, you know, we all have a mutual feeling here that Phantom can actually rip when the conditions are right. And I've been laddering into a Phantom position because I'd like to see a big move on Phantom. I think there's a play coming here for us, and this is a very similar setup to the AVAX chart. 132% I'm looking at here for Phantom, and right now you can see what's going on. It's looking nice and bullish. We've broken this weekly trend line. This is a massive trend line we've now cracked, and we're looking for the same plan, the exact same plan. We want to push it up. We're going to look for this rejection at this huge horizontal. We can see this has been resistance for AVAX since January 23. We've tapped it 3 times. I'm looking for this 4th time, little rejection, and then a big send to the highs there for me for Phantom. So I'm looking for a target of around about 1, just above 1 for Phantom, and it's the same principle. It's a spot position, or it's a potential margin 3x type trade that you're looking at, and potential upside here of 390%. And again, understand along the way we're going to get pullbacks, we're going to get dips, and I'm going to show you that 𝗘𝗘 trade, which is an exact example of one of these slow movers, these grind out trades that you can play in. And 𝗘𝗘 was a great example. We looked at 𝗘𝗘 originally in November, and I sat in this trade since I gave it to you guys in November last year. I think it was late November. We were looking at 𝗘𝗘, and it was an absolute grind out. They actually sent us down to the depths of hell, and I was sweating on this position, and eventually they started grinding it back up. So 𝗘𝗘, for those of you that are still joined me in the 𝗘𝗘 trade or still sitting in the 𝗘𝗘 trade, we have just started printing a new high here. So we're looking just for a little push higher, and then we're going to start tracking our way to our first TP zone. So this has taken a very long time to play out. I mean, this was early December. Is when we first looked at this entry on 𝗘𝗘. So it's taken about 2 months, 3 months to play out at the moment. So some of these could take a while, but we had a massive upside target here for 𝗘𝗘. And if this market stays bullish, for me, this 𝗘𝗘 trade is still on, and no changes for me. That upside there at the time was 117%. I'm sitting in a 5x margin trade on this one, and so I was looking for a 500% move there. So 𝗘𝗘 update, we are still good. Everything is moving now. If you have taken this trade, you can actually raise your stops now to above this 50-day moving average or entry. So you are actually completely de-risked now on this 𝗘𝗘 trade, and it's a free ride now along the way. Sometimes just a little bit of patience, is needed. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got. Just these comments, guys. Okay, there's questions for Flow, there's questions for Carver. What else we got? Bonk questions. I've got meme coins for you guys. I've got more meme coins for you. There's a lot to cover here. We're ticking along. Okay, let's just make sure we've covered everything. So we've done DOGE. Then there was a nice little tweet here, and this was a nice little example for you guys just to understand the type of laggards that we've had here. And Sol and AVAX, if you look at this tweet, they've shown BTC up 41%, ETH 46%, Sol year to date 12% up, AVAX minus 1.5. It's an absolute lagger. Optimism minus 2. Now that's an interesting one. That has been incredibly quiet over the last while. So we can deal with optimism tomorrow. I'll deal with optimism. The next one I've got for you is an update on Injective, and I know a lot of you guys felt that pain yesterday. Look at this candle. Look what these guys did to us. They absolutely melted us down into the 50-day moving average. I mean, it was a proper bleed out yesterday. And again, another lesson for you guys. And when they come with a flush, and remember, they're going to come with a flush. Every few weeks, they're going to flush. They're going to flush, especially when the market's hot. You can look for key areas and key reaction zones where these tokens react. And you're going to find, if you look back in your charts now, after that flush out yesterday, we had so many reactions on the 50-day moving average. We had multiple reactions on 618s and on big horizontal levels. And they tend to really bounce hard from these areas. So you can protect yourself with your stops by having your stops below these areas, because there's nothing worse than having your stop above a major reaction zone and they come in, they take your stop, and then they bounce off these areas. So when you are placing your stops, when you are trying to be strategic with your stops, try and make sure they are under solid big reaction zones. Don't randomly place your stops, you know, under 15-minute levels or things like that. Look at the chart, study the chart, figure out where your big reaction zones are, and then put your stops nicely below that, not exactly on it, because so often they react on these huge areas and then they just bounce off that. And there's nothing worse, guys. I'm sure there's some of you in the chats that got taken out on some of these and they've pumped it back, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. So that's a little strategy that I employ. I always watch these big areas. But now, what is my plan for Injective? How are we going to deal with this? So this looks very similar to that CAS chart that we were trading a couple of weeks ago, and CAS ripped through the major range high and actually printed all-time highs, and there's nothing stopping it right now. So Injective has a similar look to it. I like what's going on here, and what I would suggest, if you're not in Injective or if you got bounced out of it yesterday, you want to just track this. But I'd get this chart on your watch list. I'd look at this thing as often as possible. You want to look for some kind of flag forming here at the top, because if we get a bullish flag pushing into this resistance, it's going to start teeing itself up for a big move. So eyes on Injective now. If you're not in Injective, you are getting close to an opportunity to start looking for an entry on Injective. So you can dial into the 1 hour, maybe the 4 hour, and you want to start finding a little entry for you, because if Injective moves off this 45 level and starts ripping, it's clear skies ahead. This thing is going to absolutely just pump. And some of the guys talking about 80 and things like that on the cards for Injective. So I'm sitting in Injective right now, and you know, once we blow this area, I'm looking to add to that position. Let's see what else is going on here. Lots of questions about Gala. Yes, I've updated a Gala chart today in the game, and I owe you guys some more memes, and I owe you some more gaming tokens again, because I see those gaming tokens move nicely after the show that I did on Monday, and we might need to do some kind of update if we've got time, guys. I'm going to try and grab this this Gala for you. Okay, let's go. Sol ecosystem. What do we do? Okay, you bullish on Sol. What do? We've had this discussion before. You go Radium. Okay, Radium is a DEX. Radium is DeFi on Solana. So when you bullish on Sol, you look at things on Sol. Radium I love as a Sol proxy trade, and the other one I love is WIF or Bonk or any one of these meme coins which have absolutely fired already. But we're going to take a look at WIF as well. And look, Radium looking good here. If Sol starts popping off and you know, it starts really moving, we're going to be looking at Radium with an upside target here of around about 1.66. That's our first move that we're looking for on Radium. So there's a little 27% coming here for Radium right now. You can see it's putting pressure on this current daily resistance zone. So this is a big resistance area. Obviously, keep your eyes on this thing, but I like that it's pierced this high. We're going to look for some kind of support in this area, and then we've got a 27% move potentially coming for us on Radium. So eyes on this one. I think it's a nice little movie here, 27, 28%, somewhere in that region. Okay, the other one I've got for you, and this thing, I'm so salty about this. I'm so salty about this WIF. Ray, did you trade this WIF?
No, I missed that one. I left it alone. I caught Walsh though. Walsh did me well.
Bro, I've also got Walsh for you guys. I took this WIF trade. I think my entry was like 36 or whatever it was. I closed it at 52 or 54. And I felt so smart. I really thought I did a good thing there. And this thing is absolutely ripped to 85. I mean, it's actually unbelievable what is going on here now. So I've jumped into a WIF trade again. on this break of trend, because you know what we understand about this market, it's totally irrational. The value and the market cap and all the stuff doesn't actually matter if there is hype involved in these tokens. So I've jumped into another little whiff position here on MEXC that I'm playing around with at the moment. It's a tiny little whiff starter position because I want to take advantage of some of that momentum if we're going to get it. So I'm sitting in a whiff position here, and my strategy at the moment, we'll deal with that one now, is just to see if we get some kind of movie here, because this is whiff looking at all-time highs again. Okay, so here's our highs. We're just looking at something bullish here and to send this thing. So right now, my areas I'm watching for whiff as support, 0.82. I'm watching that level. And then your big area of support here for whiff is 0.77. So whiff traders, if you are trying to get a piece of this thing, that's how you can play it. Those are your support levels to watch. Remember, these things are absolutely or incredibly volatile. They have 5%, 10% moves. If you're trying to trade this stuff on 20x leverage, you're going to get burnt more than likely. So you've got to play very low leverage here, small position, big move. Once it starts moving, you can start adding to this whiff trade. And remember the fun line. This is always the most critical thing. The fun line is the rising trend. This tells us we are bullish on a token or whatever the story is. The minute this fun line is lost, we are bearish again. The token's melting down. It's having a little breather. So for me, I'm just very salty about whiff. It's almost a revenge trade, trying to play this little breakout here. Let's see how it works. If we lose the fun line, jump out of that trade, exit, and let it fall back, because we most likely going to then be picking whiff up much lower down at 0.58, somewhere in that region. So there is a buy zone. And remember, the fad wears off at some point. Okay, at some point they fall over, and we come back in 2 months' time and we trade these things again, and we're going to be picking them up at really low levels. So guys, remember, if you're going to play this thing, small position, play around. This thing is pumped, I don't know, 100%, 200% in the last while. So just exercise caution here. Watch your levels. Very low leverage, small position, big move if you're going to play these games. Okay, next one I've got for you. We've covered. Oh, I've got another one for you. Okay. Phantom ecosystem. Okay, so this thing has also been abused. I mean, Phantom doesn't have a good rap at the moment. Okay, but if you dig around, the number one performing ecosystem, I mean, number one performing DeFi on Phantom is SpookySwap. I think it might be one of the only ones. And I mean, this thing has been absolutely smashed on the weekly. So, I've started buying a little bit of this SpookySwap. It's super speculative. And, the basic play here is that Phantom is going to start running, and people are going to wake up again, and they're going to start playing in this ecosystem. And you can see by these candles, this thing loves to wick up and have big moves. I mean, this candle alone is about 67% on this boo, it's called. So it's SpookySwap. So I've got my eyes on this support. I'm watching right now SpookySwap. This is the weekly 50-day moving average I've got my eyes on here, 0.922, and then your 200-day moving average a little bit lower, you're watching as support. And well, it's a lot lower actually. It's 0.69. So these are key levels that I'm watching now for SpookySwap. The idea here is, if Phantom's going to start running, people are going to start looking at this ecosystem, and they're going to start putting a little bit of their dollars into some of these things. Gala is the XRP of the gaming system, according to Michael Palazzi. Trash. I must say, I do tend to agree, but you know what's happened? Because I agree with that statement, I hardly ever trade Gala. And what has happened is we've missed a massive Gala move lately. It's just pumped and it's pumped. And again, it's just a lesson, whether these things are trash or not. The key learning here and the key lesson is, if the market's going to give you something, it doesn't matter what you feel about the token. If the chart tells you that there's a trade available here, you might as well just take it. And as much as I hate Doge, and I mean, it offends me how irritating it is, but we got this trade and we took the trade because the chart told us that there was going to be a trade. So we try and just, we can call it trash, but let's trade it on the side. We trade it secretly on the side there. Okay, what else we got here? I've got for you. I've got a link update for you. Okay, links also. I just wanted to give you guys a big picture play here. on Link as to what is potentially available. And Link has just slowly done its thing. It's slowly broken through this major weekly zone again. I wouldn't say unnoticed, because, you know, we've been trading it on and off, but sometimes you switch off and you move to other tokens. But it's very quietly now broken this 50-day moving average. It's broken a major weekly area, and it's sitting in a little flaggy situation here and starting to look a little bit more fun. And maybe we're going to get some kind of move out of Link. So I'm just looking at this consolidation here in this area. At some point, we're going to track this little area. We're going to look for this break. And I would say there's a 58% play here on Link, coming for the Link army. All the Link fans out there, I think 𝗘𝗓𝗘𝗧 will be quite happy with this 58% play. So what you want to do for Link, if you are trading spot, your main buy zones, your support areas that you want to watch is anything around 17.8. Okay, so any pullbacks down to 17.8, you can't get stressed about. Pullbacks down to 17.2, also actually quite acceptable here for Link. If you do get a move down into that area, just remember, keep these alarms in your chart. Set the alarm so that if one day we do get this pullback and that they want to give us, we can look at grabbing Link at the 17.2 region anywhere in that area for that next phase, because the next phase is a 58% move here. Elamonos says XRP is breaking. Jeez, and there's ape. There's guys screaming ape. There's guys screaming Celestia. Guys, there's so many things here. Let's see. Let's emergency look at XRP quickly. Okay, wait. First, Welsh, the dog. So, as you know, Gustavo, our research, one of the degens on our research team, loves this Welsh. This is the first dog on BTC, and we've been buying this dog I've been buying it for a couple of weeks. Gustavo's been buying it since it was launched. I mean, he's obsessed about this thing, and I've just charted now because, you know, it's a token of interest to me, and I saw we had a sell-off today on Welsh, but I just wanted to point out to you guys that it's held this trend really nicely, and it was bought up on this 382. So Welsh is one to watch. And, you know, I'm slowly just buying any pullbacks and any dips on this thing. If it's the first dog on BTC, I want to have a piece of this thing. And Gustavo thinks it's going to $1 billion. So I'm going to come for that ride. You know, right now it's about an $80 million market cap. So, you know, maybe another 5x to 10x in the tank on Welsh. So any pullbacks for me right now, I'm looking at buys, and you can see the fun line in play. So trying to just accumulate a bit of Welsh as we go. Okay, emergency XRP meeting. And I promised myself I wouldn't talk about it today. I swore to myself I wasn't going to talk about XRP today. Let's see what they got. Okay, no, they're going. Okay. XRP army, come jump out and say, I told you so. We're ready for you. I'm waiting for you. I'm still going to start getting messages from my friends here. They're going to start telling me, they told me so, that it was going to start pumping. I bet you that's them texting me right now. Okay, so XRP looking good. We are pushing into 64, which is our next big resistance area. This is our next big target zone for XRP. So we're looking at the 64 region, eyes on that. And nice to see a little mover. Let's just check in here. And I see it's woken up. My little trade here on Prime XBT. It's finally woken up. Now remember, guys, I trade on a ton of exchanges, and there's a list of them here in the show description. You can go and select the ones you like. There's a couple of KYC friendly ones for you guys, 2bit and Prime XBT. Both of them have got great sign-up bonuses and things like that. And Bitget is an exchange I also trade on, and they've got a new promo that they're offering now, which is limited till I think it's the 12th of March. For anybody clicking in this link. So if you want to take advantage of their limited offer, grab it there. So 2bit I trade on, Prime XBT, Coincall, you know about all the options and things we trade on, Mexi as well. You saw that, you saw some of those trades on there, and you'll get access to Easy Algo and Sniper Club in that description as well. So I do have some Easy Algo things for you guys on the table. I actually had a nice little setup earlier. I just want to make sure it's the right one. It might have been Sui. Yes, so Sui, I just wanted to show you guys. I've been playing around with Easy Algo here, and I was waiting for a move. So right now, what we've got with the Sui chart, this is Sui on the 8 hour, and I've been using Easy Algo to sort of tie in with some of my charting and things like that. And it's actually a nice little guide, because if you see trends breaking and things like that, it's nice to know where the weekly pivot is, and you know, are we below it or are we above it and things like that. So this has become quite a nice little pivot to watch when we are looking for positions. So right now, SUI, even though it's breaking trend, what it's telling me is it still needs to break above the weekly pivot. So for me, we've got a trend break. It's not enough confluence when you put on easy algo, because we want to see SUI above this weekly pivot. So I just wanted to show you guys how I use this thing as a guide for some of my decisions here. Oh, I've just deleted. Okay, so but that's what we look for with easy algo. If you're looking for a free trial, there's a 3-day free trial in the description. If you want to see how it works in real life, you can join Sniper Club. Seth is in Sniper Club every day with us. He's dropped probably 3 or 4 signals this week, and it's been an absolute banger. I mean, one of these signals did something like 70%. Or something ridiculous, just using his weekly pivots and things like that. So if you want a taste of it, you can be part of Sniper Club, see what it's like, and then you can jump in and grab some of that. Okay, let's see. Where else do we need to be? Theta, XRP. Yeah, I can see you guys in the chats here. You're telling me, you told me, so I can see that. I mean, I'm getting messages. I can feel my phone. I can hear it vibrating that people are texting me that XRP is breaking. Okay, what else do we have here? RUNE, this is boring as hell. Nothing happening for RUNE at the moment. I'm sitting in a RUNE position, and you know, this is like watching paint dry. This is a deep burn for me. Nothing happening with RUNE. If you're interested in RUNE, well, it's doing nothing. It's exit point here 5.768. If you lose 5.768, nothing's changed on this trade. Exit under 5.768, that would mean RUNE is potentially bearish. We do know there was a little bit of FUD around on RUNE, but it was just that. It was FUD. It apparently doesn't really affect the actual token, and the delisting had something to do with another pairing or something along those lines. So anyone in the chat's got any more info on it, let me know. But it's been very slow and very boring for us. And I can see you guys are screaming at me, asking for RWeave. So let's just have a quick look at RWeave. I did chart it yesterday for you guys. I mean, this has been an epic play. The announcement they came out with, the news, the way this thing is pumped, it's been unbelievable. What an absolute banger, this thing. Let's take a look here at what they've given us. Yes, we looked at this yesterday. Okay, so I think we got this trade yesterday. Okay, so RWeave, your upside target is still this 40 to 42 region. Okay, so nothing has changed there. Let's dial in here and see. Okay, yes. So here was the setup we were looking at yesterday. I mean, absolute degens, you guys. 15 minutes plays, and this is a typical move. And look at this. This is great. So when I talk about candle closing under certain areas, this is exactly what I mean, because you can see these guys come and they try and flush you out of positions, and they take your stops and they run away from you. And this is why I always say wait for the candle close. So I said if we got a candle close under this 22.1, this region over here, look for those pumps, look for them. They come for your stops and they send it back up. So that's why I always spend so much time talking about these candle closes. Is there another potential move coming on RWeave? Well, you can do the exact same thing we did yesterday. You can play the same game. It's the same story. What you can do, you bang out your trend. Okay, but this is degen stuff, and you guys can get addicted to this. And, you know, you're going to end up spending your whole day and your whole night pulling 15-minute candles here and looking for trouble. So I'll just show you a tip here. You just pull the trend. It's the same principle as everything else. You want to pull some fibs. You want to look for confluence. You want to see where we get tie-in. And you want to try and identify hot zones of support. Okay, the same way I did it with BTC and things like that. And you just want to understand where are your key bounce levels. If this thing's going to bounce when it's in a downtrend, where's it going to move and what is going to happen? So that's something you can watch there. That's 618. You can look at this 382, so you can see we've actually lost this 382 at the moment on RWeave. So eyes on that. Let's look at easy algo, and yeah, that's not a very big daily pivot. What you can see is we've bounced off the weekly pivot. So for those of you that are trading with easy algo, here's your little weekly pivot that you can play with. You can see we've absolutely rocketed off that weekly pivot. That's why I like using these things so much. And right now, let's just go back to that chart. Okay, so right now, if you want to look for a position on RWeave, what you need to do is try and track key levels here. Where can you bounce? And you're going to track the trend. Okay, you're going to play that trend game. because the market is so bullish, because everyone is so pumped at the moment, we've been seeing these little trend breaks are getting traction, and they're starting to work quite regularly. So there's two strategies here. One of them, you can wait for it to break trend at any time. We don't know when it's going to break. If it breaks trend, you can buy that retest and then you can send it. Otherwise, you want to wait for key bounce zones where you can nibble at positions, because that might be your first bounce area. And then the next big bounce zone for me is going to be about 25.8. So areas to watch for are we 27.3 and 25.8. These are big areas that you can watch on the 15-minute time frame. If you're looking for positions here, you can start sniping little entries there in those regions, and then maybe if this thing turns bullish, you're going to get a bit of a move there. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I see there's people saying things are coming down. So let's see. Maybe the market is just bleeding out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so guys, this is our first test here. This is what we're watching. Okay, we're watching BTC coming into its first test. This is a typical little bleed out here. Let's see if this area is going to hold. This is normally your first move and your first test. So we want to just watch this area closely. And we're going to see what type of bounce we get here. And it's the same play. If we start losing this trend, you don't panic until the candle is closed under that trend. Okay, so let it do its thing. Maybe they're going to try and push us down here and then send us higher. Because remember, we've got stops here now under these regions, and you know, they often want to come and just flush you a little bit here. So let's just try and watch. We've got a couple of minutes here. We can just see what's going on. Another strategy you can play around with is these 𝗘𝗡𝗘 channels as well. You can look for the 𝗘𝗡𝗘 channel lows, and you can see it's tied in there with the trend at the moment there, and that horizontal. So eyes on that. Let's look at easy algo. You can see we're still above the daily pivot at the moment. So you can see there's horizontal support, there's trend support, and there's this daily pivot holding things together at the moment. So eyes on that. And let's see, maybe we're in a typical little range here for BTC. But look at Ant says we are fucked. Sell everything. Maybe we're just in a typical little range here, and you must always look when you're watching your altcoins. Look at your areas where these altcoins are dipping into. You're gonna find so often that when you get that BTC move into a range low, you're gonna see that these alts dip into hot little areas, and maybe this is going to be your Solana opportunity. Maybe this is going to be your entry opportunity for Sol. So eyes on this level now. While BTC dips, let's take a look where Sol settles. Remember, that entry area you're watching for Sol is going to be around about 126. And then your next big reaction zone is going to be around about 118. So those could be areas of interest for you to nibble on. King Shiba says, thanks for 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓. Pleasure, bro. Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Just remember, you watch these key levels while it dips. And this is why I spend so much time giving you guys this. So for those of you that are new, to watching me zoom in here on 8 hour, 4 hour and things like that, this is what I love. We spend time on these things. I trade leverage most of the time. And, that's why I'm quite greedy with entries. I look for reaction zones, and I've watched these charts for so long that we've figured out where these things like to bounce, like to react, like to move, and all these things, and that's where we take our opportunities when we get them. Yanko says Dylan is great. I appreciate that, bro. I really do appreciate that. Okay, one more chart here for THETA. I see we've got a request coming in. Okay, THETA dropping like a stone. Okay, let's see what it's dropping onto. So the first thing you want to do is just zoom out. Okay, whenever you're getting things pulling back, you want to just zoom out. You want to get a bigger picture. Where are we in the grand scheme of things? It's very easy to get lost in a little window if you're trading 1 hour candles all day and you lose sight of the bigger picture as to what you're looking at. And you just always zoom out and try and understand, where are they taking me? Where are they dropping this token to? Is it reasonable? Are they being reasonable with us? And if they start dropping THETA after a massive move like that, look at the size of this rejection zone. Okay, that's a huge weekly area that you were looking at. So if you pumped into that, that was your TP zone. And now where are they taking you? They're taking you to your first reaction area. So it makes perfect sense for me for them to want to come and drop THETA to around about this 1.7 level. We can't actually complain. I mean, look at the size of this candle. You can't be upset if they bring it down to that area. So you can see I've got a 382 there. Let's actually pull this 382 to the lows. And you can see I've got a nice 382 here, 1.65. Okay, so totally totally acceptable if they come here at 1.65. I would say that's a buy area for you for theta. So that would be a typical retest. If we zoom in, you'll probably find it's going to look like a little retest on the daily here. Let's just look at this daily. Okay, there it is. So here's your daily candle, and this is your fib over here, 1.65. This little region, they've taken my pen away. This region, 1.65, that's an area to watch. If they pull you back to that zone, that's perfectly acceptable little pullback, and nothing to really stress about. Okay, guys, we've absolutely run out of time. You've seen the BTC levels that I've given you. Eyes on those levels. You know we've got the fun line now. We've got the trend. We lose the trend, things are looking dark. We're looking at next levels for these altcoins. It's the same process every single day, every single time. Watch your main levels. If BTC bounces, your alts tend to bounce on their corresponding levels. If BTC loses the level, their alts generally start moving down on some of their areas. So guys, we're going to do it again tomorrow. I've got a bit more of a degen vibe coming tomorrow. We're going to look at some meme coins for you. It's long overdue that we cover some of these memes. We might do some gaming tokens, and we'll obviously cover the market as a whole, and hopefully maybe all-time highs Friday, Saturday, maybe this weekend. Let's see how we go. Looking forward to tomorrow, and fun as always, just hanging with you guys. A good time. I love these charts. See you guys tomorrow.